All right, friends, I'm Meteorologist Trevor Birchett in the ABC 24 Weather Center. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, ABC 24 Plus, pretty much anywhere you can find us with an update on the severe weather that is coming into the Mid-South a little later this evening. Unfortunately, what we have seen now is an upgrade to our severe weather risk. Now we are looking at a level 5 out of 5 risk. That does not happen very often. In fact, the last time the city of Memphis was under a level 5 out of 5 was 2011, almost 12 years ago. So they don't just put these out for fun. These are only put out on the most serious weather days where every ingredient is in place for severe weather, and today is one of those days. For those of you who are just joining us, give us just a second. We are about to go live on Facebook. We've got our app going, so I'm just going to open that up, and I'll have the comments up on Facebook. If you do want to interact, I would love to hear from you in the comments. You can ask questions if you have any. I will be keeping an eye on that stream throughout the event here, so I can keep an eye on if you have any questions or anything like that. I think I need to go to a different source here, but hang with me for just a little bit. I've also got about 1 million people texting me asking all kind of questions, so just bear with me here. I got a little bit going on. Okay, I've got those comments pulled up now, but yes, we are saying a prayer that this is not as bad as it looks like it's going to be. This is one of those days. I don't want to be wrong very often. This would be one of those days. I really hope nothing happens, and I will happily take that and say, yeah, I was wrong. I hope I can say that at the end of today. But what I can tell you is every ingredient for severe weather is in place in the Memphis area right now. And that is why we have this level 5 out of 5. Like I said, they don't just issue this for fun. It's only for the most serious situations. So that purple area, the 5 out of 5, the most high risk for severe weather you can get, it includes the Memphis metro area, parts of western Tennessee, Fayette and Hardeman counties, also for northern Mississippi, and a good chunk of eastern Arkansas. Now, other areas are in a level 4 out of 5, which is still serious. That would be a severe weather day that we really are focused on, even if it was just a 4. But the fact that it is a 5 for some areas really has us concerned. Let's talk about radar right now, because we do have a little bit of rain that is trying to move through the Mid-South. And I told you earlier, that is what we wanted. We need some rain. And the reason why is we have all of this storm energy that's in place. You're going to hear me say that word a lot, storm energy. That's just the ingredients that you need for severe weather. Think about it like as you're baking a cake. All right, before you get the cake, you got to have eggs, flour, your whisk, your mixing bowl, whatever you need. You have to have all those ingredients. Now, having those ingredients does not mean the cake is going to happen. But it goes to show you that all the ingredients being there, it's a pretty good bet that you're going to have a cake at the end of the day. So that's what we're thinking here. We've got all the ingredients to make severe weather. It's a pretty good bet that severe weather is going to happen. Gage, good to hear from you. Second floor apartment. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit because it is important to know your safe place. But I want to show you radar because we do have some rain, and the more rain we can get, the better, because we want our temperatures to stay lower. The lower that temperature goes, the lower the risk of severe weather. So if we can get some rain to come through and bump our temperature down 5 degrees, that's going to help us a little bit. It might not save us, but we'll take anything we can get. So we really need rain. I was hoping for more rain this morning. We haven't gotten a lot of it. But I'm hoping that we can get some rain. We would have some showers out there, but it's really not going to be until later this evening that we have the highest severe weather potential. So strong storms starting by 3 or 4 p.m., probably a little closer to 4 in eastern Arkansas. Those storms will be moving into Memphis between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m., and then into western Tennessee and northern Mississippi between about 7 p.m. and midnight. By midnight, this is all done. So if you can give me those few hours, that's 8 hours. 8 hours where you're really focused on the weather. I know most of you aren't weather geeks like us, but if you can give me those 8 hours that you're really focused in, you have a way to get a weather alert, you know where your safe place, give me those 8 hours. I would really like that. And I know that's a time frame that many people are out. It is a Friday night in Memphis. I understand. There's a Grizzlies game. We've got Monster Jam. You want to be out. A lot of people are asking about, not in the chat, but people are texting me, well, I have plans, I have this. Here's what I'm going to say. I would tell my mother, I would tell my grandmother, I would tell my aunt, I wouldn't be outside tonight. I just wouldn't. It's one of those days where even if the weather is not, so serious in your neighborhood, the storms are still going to be heavy. Think about what we saw last week with those heavy thunderstorms. That's coming again. So it's just a night I wouldn't be out. I would really stay at home. I would keep an eye on the weather on TV, radio. Your phone app is a great bet. If you have our app, you might be watching us there now. That's a good option. I'll tell you, if we have a threatening weather situation pop up, which unfortunately I feel like we will later on, we will go live everywhere. So you'll see us on TV, on ABC 24 and CW 30. Wherever you're watching us right now, you're going to get us for severe weather too. The app, we live stream on that. YouTube, we live stream there. Facebook, we live stream there. You can pretty much find us anywhere, and we go street by street tracking those storms. So we're going to be here for you, keeping an eye on that potential for severe weather. Gage, I want to get to what you were talking about, which is where do I go? Let's say I live in an apartment building, like a lot of people do in Memphis. We know, you've probably heard us say a lot of times, the best place to go for a tornado is the lowest floor of the building. A basement is great. I don't know many people in Memphis that have a basement just because of how high our water table is. They flood. And that's okay. The next best thing is going to be the smallest center room in the middle portion of your home. So a bathroom, a closet, a windowless room. That is where you want to be, and stay there as long as the tornado warning is in effect. Covering your head is great. If you have a helmet for the kids, pots and pans in a worst case scenario. I know it sounds silly. Somebody messaged me last week when I said that and said that, quite frankly, that was stupid. They get stupid all day, but if it protects your head, I will sound stupid all day long. If it's going to keep you safe, I would rather sound stupid and let you be safe. Cover your head, that's most important in a tornado because that's where most injuries happen. A mattress, pillows, that's all good stuff too. Dan says FedEx is going to load those planes and trucks. Some people have to work. You're right. I have a feeling that things are going to be on a pause at Memphis International a little later today, much like they were last week. All right, high rise. For this case, let's say a high rise is anything over 1 floor. If you have 2 floors, 3 floors, 4 floors, 30 floors, whatever, if you're above the first ground floor of your building, you can't be there during a tornado. So here's what I say. If you're in an apartment and you don't live on the ground floor, now is a fantastic time to meet your neighbor, one of your downstairs neighbors, and have a plan with them so y'all can seek shelter together. Now, I know what you're going to say. I'm not going to knock on some random person's door to seek shelter. The community office is great. Most apartment buildings, I know mine does, has like a bathroom on the first floor. Go there. But whatever you do, you don't need to stay on the upper floors of the building. You need to go down to the first floor that you can and find a place without a window, a small interior room. A good bet is to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, because if the tornado hits one wall, it's got 2 more walls to get to before it gets to you. That's going to be your safest bet. But if you have to, let's say it's just an emergency situation, the tornado's on your doorstep, you need somewhere to go, an interior stairwell is also a good spot. As long as you're away from windows on an interior room, that's going to be your best bet, but you really need to be on the lowest floor that you can. And I wanted to show you your tornado safe place. And I told you at 11 a.m. during the newscast, practice this with the kids. Let them know, because they are a lot of times scared of storms. And I know I was too. You probably were too when you were a kid. You might still be. Make sure they know where to go to. Just if you're not there with them, if you have older kids, make sure they know where to go to. Here's the best bet. So we've kind of taken a house. We're looking inside. In this case, in this house, you want to find the most interior room, as many walls between you and the outside as possible, with no windows. In this case, it's their bathroom. Notice how there's no windows in the bathroom. Most places that's the case. There's a lot of walls around them. It's an interior room, so you don't have any walls that are touching the outside. It doesn't matter what side of the house you're on at the end of the day. I know some people say, well, if the tornado is coming from southwest, go to the northeast side. It doesn't matter, because if it's going to hit you, unfortunately, it's going to come all the way across. The center of your house, that is the absolute best. You need to go to the absolute center room of your house. Again, we're not worried about that right now. Today, later today though, we're going to be really focused on that. So some rain out there now. Let's hope that we continue to see rain. I would really like some rain, but there's already storms firing up. They're happening right now. You know, we have storms back here in Arkansas. That's the line of storms that's going to be to us a little later today. So that line is pushing toward Memphis, and it's going to be here. I expect it to be crossing the river between 6 and 7, and then through the city of Memphis by 8 p.m. So again, we have a lot going on And I know it's Friday night. This is my second Friday night in a row that I've not been able to do anything because I've been here. And this is the only place I want to be when there's severe weather. I want to keep an eye on it for you. But I would really rather you be at home and just keep an eye on the weather than be out and about. There's going to be more Grizzlies games. Monster Jam is all weekend. You can take the kids. We have great weather this weekend. But I really don't want you driving around, and I really don't want you out and about. If you have to be out, make sure you've got a way to get the alert. That's another important thing. These alerts will come out. It's very rare that a tornado hits without any warning, but the warnings can sometimes be short. Technology is just not great enough yet. There are people working on it. That's their entire life to get the lead time for tornadoes better and longer. 15 minutes if you're lucky for a tornado. So what you need to do is have a way to get the alert the second it gets to you. Our app is great. It notifies you automatically. Our app is not fail-proof. Neither is anything. Nobody else's app, no other channel in town has a flawless app that is not going to break. It happens. Stuff happens. It's all technology. So I have multiple ways to get weather alerts. On a day like today, I don't really care. Have every news station's app. One of them is going to get to you, right? Tornado sirens, that's great. It shouldn't be your main way of getting an alert. Those are meant for if you're outside. And even if you're more than a mile away, you're probably not going to hear it that well. Tornado sirens are great, but they don't need to be your first method. We had a lot of people in Mississippi last week. The tornado warning was out 20 minutes ahead of time. They said, I never heard a siren. You do not need to be relying on the siren as your first method of hearing. And that's just a relic from the Cold War. A lot of y'all went through the war drills and the bomb drills when you had the sirens going off. That's just what you're used to. We had a generation grow up with that. But they're just not the quickest way to get the weather alert to you. The phone's going to go off immediately. I know you might have turned off your annoying alerts in settings. Turn them back on. Give me 8 hours today where you have those alerts on and maybe they bother you. But I just really want you to be safe. Dan says they have friends and family that work at the hub and praying for their safety. And I know they have a good plan there. They do. People are watching the weather. I have family members that work in warehouses too. And that's what we try to think about is those people. Obviously, we'd like everybody to stay home, but people got to earn a check. People got to be out. So thinking about those folks as well. Jennifer says you're nervous. And I understand that, Jennifer, because when I was growing up, I was totally scared of weather. I had horrible storm anxiety. That's why I got into this. I wanted to do this to help people like you that are nervous. Here's what I say. If you're prepared, you don't need to be nervous. And I know as someone with anxiety, that's not going to calm your nerves, but if you really, seriously, if you're prepared, you don't need to be nervous. You don't need to be scared. If you have a way to get the warning, the second it comes out, app, TV, radio, whatever you have, if you have a way to get the warning, if you know where you're going to go when that warning is issued, know that safe place we just talked about, and you can get there quickly, you don't need to worry because you'll be safe as long as you follow those action tips. And of course, while that's happening, we'll walk you through that on TV. And hopefully it doesn't get to that point, but if it does happen, we walk you through that on TV as it's happening. All right, hello from Midtown, Jamie. Teresa says, what about Hernando, Mississippi? It's kind of the same thing for everybody. If you missed what we were talking about, we do have that level 5 out of 5 risk, a very rare risk. This hasn't been issued in Memphis since 2011. A very rare high risk, the highest on the scale for all the storm ingredients that are in place. There's just off the charts storm energy, storm ingredients in the Memphis area today that if a storm comes along and taps into them, it's going to be severe. We're going to have severe thunderstorms today. That does include Hernando, North Mississippi, Eastern Arkansas, much of Western Tennessee. Other people are in the 4 out of 5, but I don't want you to really get too focused on what color or number you're in because everybody has a potential to see those rough thunderstorms today. And Jamie brings up a great point. Please keep your phones charged. Plug it in right now. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to go home for an hour or two and get a quick nap. I don't know if that's going to happen, but either way, I'm going to charge my phone because like what happened last week, we didn't have a tornado in Memphis last week, but we had winds of 70 miles an hour. Power was out for a good chunk of people. So it doesn't take a tornado to do that damage. And I really think the wind is going to be the issue. Most of you today are not going to see a tornado. And that might be something that reassures you. Jennifer, you were talking about how you're nervous. And I don't want to say this to let your guard down, but even on a terrible severe weather day like today, if we have 100 tornadoes touch down, we could have the craziest severe weather outbreak in history. 100 tornadoes touch down. The odds of your specific house being hit are slim. The odds of that, think about a tornado is usually about a mile wide or less, probably around a half a mile. Even if we have 100 of those, that doesn't cover that much ground. Now, that might help you a little bit because most of you are just going to see wind, damaging wind. It doesn't take a tornado to cause damage, but tornadoes are possible. And that's why I still want you to be prepared. Even with that bit of, that might help your nervousness, help your nerves a little bit, that even with a lot of tornadoes, the odds of you specifically getting hit are slim. The fact of the matter is, on a day like today, somebody is going to see a tornado touchdown. Let's hope that it is not here. I don't want it anywhere. And if it does touch down, let's have it in the middle of a field where we can say, wow, that is a pretty tornado because it's not touching any houses. That's what we want. Unfortunately, we can't control Mother Nature like that. So that's kind of a flip of the coin there. Many of you are just going to see the damaging winds, which again is still dangerous, but a few tornadoes are likely. And the thing is, on a day like today, like the Weather Service says, if we do get a tornado, those ingredients we were talking about, the tornado touches down, taps into those ingredients, it could be a violent tornado. So again, that's not going to happen everywhere, but it is possible, and I still want you to be prepared. Joanna says, is the hallway still recommended? You don't have a center room. Yes, a hallway is great. I was talking to a family friend about this the other day. If you don't have a center room without windows, go into your hallway that's in the center of the house and close all the doors, and a mattress or a pillow or something to cover your head in the hallway. That's probably, that's going to be a good option for you. The main thing is away from windows and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And again, like I said, on a day like today, I don't want to make it sound like I'm promoting something. I don't make money off of telling you this, but I truly think it's a good thing for you to do. Download the ABC 24 app. It's free. Free 99. iPhone and Android, we've got it. Just search ABC 24. You're probably watching this on your phone right now, so you probably can't text the number, but we also have that number. You can text the word app to 901-321-7520. That way, you don't have to sit down and watch the weather 24/7 because we'll send you an alert if you need to pay attention. We'll say, hey, there's a warning in your neighborhood, listen up. And then in the app, you can also immediately watch our live stream like you're doing right now. We have those updates right in the app. So it's a great tool to have, but again, you really want to have multiple ways to get weather alerts. Phone is great. Have our app have the alerts turned on in your settings. Weather radio, TV, normal radio, sirens. If you're outside, you can use the sirens, but really that should be kind of your last line of defense. We want you to know about the warning before the sirens turn on. So again, if you're just joining us, we have a pretty substantial risk of severe weather a little later today, starting around 4 p.m. through, let's say, midnight. Strongest storms likely then. And if we want to narrow that down to the Memphis metro, 5:30 to 7, probably 6 to 7 is when that worst is going to come in. So we have trolley night tonight. See if I have an update. I have a buddy of mine is working on planning that event, and I told him it might not be the best idea because trolley night, you have everybody walking around. So I'm working to hear back from him. Grizzlies game, I'm sure will go on as normal. I know they have a severe weather plan. They know what to do. That's going on. Monster Jams happening in South Haven tonight, all around the exact time that this is going to happen. So I really want you to make sure. I could sit here all day and say, don't go to the Grizzlies game, but if you've spent $200 on tickets, you're going to go. I know that. I would probably do the same thing if I wasn't in this position. All I ask is that you have a way to get the warning. Keep your phone with you. Keep it on. Have those annoying alerts turned on. I know in your settings. I'll walk you through how to do it right now, actually. You can't see my phone that well, but go into your settings on your phone, and this is for an iPhone, but it's similar for Android. Click Notifications. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of your notifications. You're going to see government alerts, Amber alerts, emergency alerts, public safety alerts. Turn every single one on. Again, if you turn them off after today, I wish you'd leave them on, but at least for today, have those on and make sure they are going to let you know if that is coming your way. All right, that's all I have for now. I hope I answered all of your questions. If you have some more, leave them in the comments and I'll keep an eye on those and I can kind of respond over the next couple of minutes. But yes, we are hoping that this is, like I said at the beginning, I hope I'm wrong. This is a day that I'd be happy to be wrong. I don't want to be right with this severe weather outlook. It doesn't look good. So please keep an eye on the weather today. One more thing, phone a friend. I've been saying that all morning. We found out from Rolling Fork in Mississippi when they got hit. A lot of people found out about the warning, not from watching TV, not from their phone, but because a family member called them. So even if you are, if you think your family member might have heard the warning, just give them a call. 30-second phone call, say, hey, how you doing? Do you know there's bad weather coming tonight? And then if we do have warnings pop up, that might be another time to give them a call. Elvis is going to Tupelo. That's kind of ironic. Should you go to Tupelo tonight to watch Bert or stay home? If you're going to go now. I don't want you driving after, if I'm going to assume you're coming from Memphis. From Memphis to Tupelo, I don't want you leaving Memphis after 5 p.m. So if you could leave before 5, get to Tupelo by 7 and stay there, it's okay. It's still not probably the best idea, but if you're going to go, I know how it is. You probably spent money on tickets. I would do the same thing. Don't be driving after 5 p.m. on the interstate. That's going to be my bet. What's the time frame for Blytheville? Blytheville could really be 3:30. That's super early. We're saying technically around 4, but by 3:30, I would be watching very carefully in Blytheville. Probably winding down in Blytheville a little closer to 5:30 or 6. We'll run through the model one more time just so you kind of know the timing. Here come those storms by 3 p.m. You see that line in Arkansas? Those are the storms that we're going to be watching. So this model says by 5 p.m., storms in eastern Arkansas, crossing the river by 6, 5:30 to 6 into Memphis, and then continuing in Memphis through 7:30. And then we're going to be watching western Tennessee and northern Mississippi between 7 and 8. And then after that, between 9 and 10, Summerville, Selmer, Holly Springs, Ashland, Ripley, Corinth. That's going to be kind of your time to keep an eye on it. Again, all of this will be done by midnight. Union City to Memphis. Are you trying to drive today? If you're driving from Union City to Memphis, I would be in Memphis by 5. And that means you got to kind of, pack your stuff up here soon. I would not drive to Memphis or leave Memphis if I could not be there by 5 o'clock today. If you're trying to get to Memphis, be here by 5 or wait till tomorrow morning when the weather's nice. That's going to be my advice. All right, again, download our app. It's free. A lot of you are watching on it right now, but if you're not, download it. ABC 24 will send you an alert right to your phone. And like I said, if a bad weather situation pops up, we are on air within 20 seconds. Our team is amazing at getting us up on air. When we say go, we are cutting into programming. I don't really care what's on TV. I'm sorry, most days I do. On a day like today, I don't, if it means keeping you safe. We're going to be on TV 24 and 30. I will say we're doing some work on our 24 signal. I think our 30 signal is a little better right now. So if you're kind of on the outskirts, you'll have the same programming if you're doing weather on 24 and 30. If you can pick up 30 a little better, 30 will also be on there. ABC24.com, the app, Facebook, YouTube. We live stream everywhere. We've also got an app for Roku and Fire TV. Just search ABC 24 Plus. We're everywhere. We're trying to keep you safe today. So that's kind of the update from the Weather Center. Thank you all for checking in with us. Stay safe today. And again, check on your people, call your friends.